Welcome back, Dudes of Divination again, bringing you Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Today we're here to talk about one of the two holy men of the D&D universe. Yes, we're talking about the Cleric. Stay. Clerics, the bastion on your team. The people who you hide behind and who heal you and who are the big wall. That's who we got today. So, first of all, we're going to talk about the Forge domain.
I like it.
Personally, I think they're a little underwhelming. Again, I like that word underwhelming when describing some of these D&D classes. They feel... I like their level 1. Don't get me wrong. Their Blessing of the Forge, that spell is great. You essentially make something a +1 magic item. Just for until your next long rest.
Yeah,
so
it's good. It's nice. Like even beyond level 1, if you ever find yourself without your weapon, you have a +1 weapon.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. I love Blessing of the Forge, but then you go down their Channel Divinity, Artisan's Blessings. It just seems kind of backward. Like it. I get the theme, you're a forge.
Yeah.
You're
It's
smith.
It's aimed at the dwarves, I feel. This is more of a racial thing, aimed at the dwarves, gnomes, the craftier, artisan type races.
Yeah, but with 5e not being so craft heavy, with not even having craft skills and things like that, it just seems kind of like they're trying to throw them something that doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, if they had this in like 3.5 to where they could forge any equipment for 100 gold or up to 100 gold,
It takes a long time.
yeah, I think that would this ability is something dwarven clerics needed in 3.5. In 5e, it just seems a little out of place to me. And then the rest of their abilities kind of scale up from there. I like the way they're going. It just seems like their level 8 or their level 6 to their level 17, they just do the same thing, except the 17 gets better. So rather than having a new 17 ability, like a new damage or a new healing ability, it just makes your level 6 ability better. So it really doesn't feel like they're gaining anything new. It's just changing something they have rather than putting the scaling at the bottom of the level 6 saying, okay, at level 17 it also does this. It gives you this new ability which essentially cancels out your level 6. Which is why I like the Forge domain if I'm playing level 1 to 5. Anything past that, just.
The Forge domain to me is just sort of like your quintessential like dwarf cleric of Moradin. You have your magical warhammer, and you have your heavy armor that the Soul of the Forge makes even more protective for you. You have your fire damage, or your fire resistance, because you're used to working in close proximity to flames, and then you eventually gain fire immunity and resistance to all non-magical damage. That's why I said geared towards the dwarf, because that's what comes to my mind reading it, is just the heavily armored hammer and shield dwarf that in his spare time is making magic items for his friends.
The rest of the party's ready to go questing. Hold on, guys.
I have to craft this item. I like it. I like the more like old school feel that it has to it. Like it is more of like your classic like war cleric. It makes the cleric a little more of a frontliner.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I like
if you want to be a cleric that is also going to wade into combat, this should get strong consideration.
Yeah, thematically, you can't go wrong with Cleric of the Forge. But
Divine Strike is nice too. Extra damage.
Yeah, again, thematically and some of their abilities, good, but overall, I would lean towards the Cleric of the Grave, which is the one we're going to talk about next, just because every one of their abilities is just, every single one is just better than the last one. I was reading it and my jaw was literally dropping. I'm like, what? What is this? Just that. We'll just jump into it. First level, Circle of Morality. You get to choose the highest number of dice anytime you heal a thing.
That's fantastic.
Anytime you use a hit die, you don't roll. You just heal the maximum amount on that hit die. Good. Very good. Very, very, very
yes.
good.
That's good always. You get it at level 1, and it's fantastic. And then getting to use the Spare the Dying cantrip at a range of 30 feet, and as a bonus action, is good as well.
Right? Because you're a cleric, so you think, okay, you're at the front of the line, and then your caster just got dropped by an arrow.
Are you at the front of the line, though, if you're not the Forge Priest?
You're a cleric, of course you are. You're still wearing the heavy armor. You just don't get... What do you mean you don't know?
Cleric of the Forge would be at the front. Cleric of the Grave, probably hide in the back.
Okay, we got a really weird cleric composition
He's just healing.
So apparently, if our two clerics ever partied up, he'd be in the front, I'd be in the back. I'd be like,
I'd make you be in the back because you'd be weak.
Again, every one of these abilities here, I just look at Eyes of the Grave, Channel Divinity, Path to the Grave, Sentinel at Death's Door. Every single one of these was good. The only one that I didn't think was good was Potent Spellcasting, because it gives you the Wisdom modifier to your cantrip spells. And I was looking at the cleric cantrips, and there's not a lot
of damaging ones.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
ones
cool.
that do damage, though. This Potent Spellcasting helps put the cleric on pace with like the warlock or the sorcerer, who's going to be doing 7 to 10 damage with his cantrips on average for the first few levels.
The level 6 ability, though, can we just take a second to talk about that? The Sentinel at Death's Door. You get to cancel a critical hit. Just, oh, DM, I crit you. No. No, you didn't. That means between on your turn to the end of your next turn, the DM has hit 2 critical hits in order for one of them to go off.
Right.
Which critical hits, again, doesn't happen very often.
They're debilitating.
It's he would know.
I critted.
So being able
it's not just a once a day thing either. You do it per your wisdom modifier, which is what is going to be your highest stat.
Yeah, and it's once per round. So it's not like
unless you're a cleric of the Forge, so you want that strength.
So not only do you need not only do you get the wisdom bonus, or you can use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You don't even need to take like a short rest in between. It's just every round up to your wisdom modifier. You can cancel crits. So just using that. And then the one after that, Keeper of the Soul, the level 17 ability. Just anytime something dies within 60 feet of you, you can heal either yourself or a party member equal to their hit die. Just once per round as a bonus action. Just, oh, that guy died. Here you go. Have some health.
Yeah, that is really good. I overlooked that one. And it's nice because it's actual healing of hit points. The Warlock has an ability where you can gain temporary hit points when you kill someone, but it is temporary hit points. These are real hit points.
Yeah.
Tangible hit points.
Because hit points are so tangible.
Yeah.
So there we have it. We have the Forge domain, which, thematically for me is good. For him, on paper, is good. And then Cleric of the Grave, which I really, really thought was really strong. And, yeah.
I mean, it's good. I'm not taking away from it. It's geared more towards the caster cleric. There's the caster cleric. There's the fighty cleric. That's geared more towards the caster cleric, which is not my favorite. I really, really like the maximum healing. That's good all throughout the game. And the variable healing is always a pain when you need 15 health and you roll a 1 and you get 5.
Right, at level 3 you get 3 hit dice and you gotta roll. Alright, what am I gonna get this time? Yeah, it's just always getting that D8, D10, D6. Taking away that chance. Just at level 1. and then on top of that, getting the Spare the Dying. Just I feel
anybody who falls within 30 feet of you, provided that you still have a bonus action that round, no longer has to make death saves. So that's a big boost.
Yeah. I feel like they did 5e did a really good job with breaking down the classes. I would have loved to see a third cleric class, but I understand with these two that they didn't need to because they really they did enough for the cleric with these two
Cleric
classes.
also doesn't get any extra thematic thing. Like the barbarian had the superstitions and the tattoos, and the bard had some instruments and some embarrassments, defining works, things like that to help to flesh out the character. The cleric... Oh, I just missed that page. The cleric does get some of these things.
I was going to say, I'm like, did you miss page 17?
I did miss page 17. There's also not a cool illustration of both of them together next to each other.
Because that's what we worry about when we're talking about...
I like the illustrations.
He likes
But
the
anyway,
pictures.
let's dive into this. You do the words, I'll do the pictures.
So, the flavor side, they give you kind of an idea for temples, keepsakes, and secrets. So, kind of weird that secrets are for cleric, but when you look at it, it's like kind of the internal battle of good versus evil. So, like the internal thought of, you're a holy person and there's unholy forces at work, combating you, to where as a mortal person, where do you stand between these good and evil, and how it's clashing inside of you and how it manifests itself. So it's kind of a neat thing. And then keepsake, obviously cleric. The idea is you're letting go of all your mortal possessions to become the priest, the holy man. So just having that, book or doll or whatever. Something to hold on to.
The holy doll.
So that was our Xanathar's Guide to Everything for Cleric.
No pictures on this page.
No need to talk about
Nothing
pictures,
for me to talk about.
Please like and subscribe down below, and we'll catch you next time on Xanathar's Guide to Everything,
where we are talking about everything.
Why is the major from the
Don't worry, Brandon's just playing with his toys. It's okay. He likes his ice tray.